This is a short video on reverse scoring values that are already numbers. And so this just depends on how you set up your survey. In the example that I'm using, this student mental health survey I've been using for this series of videos, it was actually originally set up as text. And so I already turned it into numbers, but this was just to demonstrate what you'll be doing. So for your questions, you want to evaluate what your questions are as far as reverse scoring. You should already have this done in your appendix. And so if you look at this scale, this is a depression question, depression scale. You can see that if they respond all of the time to I was bothered by things that don't usually bother me, that should be a higher score for depression. And so I would put these as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same thing for the next one. If they rate I had trouble keeping my mind on what I was doing as all of the time, that would be a highest score for depression. However, when we get to 3, 4, 5, this one is I felt hopeful about the future. And so question 5 is reverse scored. The idea is that if they say that all of the time they felt hopeful about the future, that's actually low depression. And so we need to flip the scores. So this should be 4, the rarely or none of the time, 3, 2, 1. So I'm just going to do that with the information in sheets. So we're looking at this question here. So question 5. And so I have the raw data here and I want to create a new column for this. You could do this at the end of the scale if you wanted to. So I could put it after 10, but I want to put it after 5. I like to have it right after my original variable or original item. So I'm going to right click, or you can click on the little arrow here and insert one column right. And I'm just going to call this depression 5 underscore R. And then I also tend to, if I'm working in Sheets, just as a reminder to myself, you can highlight this if you're going to analyze it in Sheets. I'm going to have you guys create total scores in Jamovi, so it's not really necessary. It doesn't help at all to do this. But if you wanted to do your total score in Sheets, you might want to remind yourself that this is the old score by graying it out or something. So the way that this works, the math for it, you can, if you want to, you can write a nested if statement like I did for the text responses in the previous video. And so you just say a 4 becomes a 1 and a 3 becomes a 2, etc. However, the easiest way to do it is that you do equals, and then you just take the minimum score, which is a 1 in this case, and add it to the maximum score, which is a 4 in this case. And so I would say 5. So if it was from 0 to 3, then it would be 3 is the total. So I'm going to say equals 5 because again, minimum 1 plus maximum 4 is 5. And then I just do minus and then click on the value that I want to calculate my reverse score from. And when I press enter, you can see that 4 becomes 1, 1 becomes 4, 4 becomes 1, 4 becomes 1, etc. And I'm going to go ahead and use the autofill suggestion. But what's happening is that it copied this formula down. So you could also do that on your own. So you can hover over the bottom and you can see that there's a black cross there. I can drag this all the way down. You can also double click on it. Oops, too far. And so you should manually kind of look at it to make sure that it's correct. So 4 becomes 1, 1 becomes 4, right? You can see that those reverse. That's great. And then the reason why this works is that this formula, we're copying it down. It's a relative cell reference. And so every time you pull the formula down, it applies to the next row. So this one is it's 5 minus AJ2. That's what this is right here. So 5 minus AJ2. And then this one is going to be row 3. So it's 5 minus AJ3. So that's how you do reverse scoring. That's the simplest way. You can actually use the same formula in Jamovi when we get into it, but I'm just having you do that in Sheets for this project.